And this quality of aflaha, this verb is used, is, that is rooted from the word of falaha, which is, to harvest. And the quality of a farmer, a fallah, and the Arabic term for a farmer or a harvester is a fallah, is one who harvests all these crops, and he does this, and then he reaps all of the fruits and the benefits of what he harvested after, he puts in the effort, he puts in, the time to plant those things, to harvest those fruits, to harvest those vegetables, and whatever, and to cultivate those fields, so that he may reap all of those benefits while he is alive, and for people to come afterward. And that, in a way, is the quality of a believer, is that he, with the qualities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains to us, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, and we can, subhanAllah, we can never do justice to us standing up here, speaking about all these verses, but to only just, roughly talk about and mention those couple verses that we'll be covering today, inshallah, in the surahs. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. And he continues وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى فُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Right? And those that, they pay their zakat, those that have khushu' and this concentration in the devotion of salah. And some scholars, they say that the concentration and devotion that a person develops in his salah is that whenever a person feels like he's being distracted in his salah, his mind might turn to something else. It might turn to, whatever he ate before, or whatever he's going to do after, or whatever it is, whatever distraction that comes upon that person directly turns his attention back to, standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that constant turning back and forth, and us, trying to fight for that. This is that quality of khushu'. And this is a quality that is found in the Sahaba, and the Prophet ﷺ emphasized this. And how do we develop that quality? Is by, doing nawafil, and prolonging our nawafil. And the quality of giving zakah, and the quality of protecting our private parts. SubhanAllah, in Surah Nur, the beautiful thing is, it talks about those that protect themselves and those that don't protect themselves. And it continues, أُولَٰئِكَ, after this whole description of the believers, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ, that those people, those qualities that are inherited, that those individuals take in, or that they possess, those qualities, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ, indeed they are the inheritors, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this inheritance as a quality of what the word he uses is the inheritance, that they will inherit something after all of these qualities that they possess. And الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسِ, that those people, they will inherit Firdaus, the highest level of Jannah. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ, that they will be in it everlasting. And then subhanAllah, right after this discussion of the quality of believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the creation of insan, and how from just a clot of blood, from a nutfa, from a piece of flesh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the whole entire process, right? فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ, and then he deems himself in glory and blessing be to the greatest creator. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just from this small blood clot, can create such a human being. And then after that, then a person passes away, ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ تُبْعَثُونَ, and then you will be resurrected. And he describes all of this just on the first page of the surah. And then later on he talks about his oneness in the surah. In the conversation between Musa and Fir'aun, the story also comes about in the surah. And throughout many surahs in the Quran, as we have discussed earlier. And then towards the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings about a question. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. You think that we created you as a test, وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ, and that you will not return to us, right? And this is something that we can all think about. Is like, did we think that we are, because the kuffar, one of their biggest disbeliefs was in the afterlife, was that how can we pass away and then be resurrected once again. That Allah will give us life again. This was, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala disproves this in the Quran in many different places in the Quran, and He mentions it in this. And then at the last verse of this Surah Mu'minun, وَقُلْ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Allah mentions this beautiful dua, وَقُلْ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ, and say, our Lord, forgive and have mercy, وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ, and you are the best and the most merciful. And this is the quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we should all inshallah try to lean on and aim towards this Ramadan, taking and grasping upon the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this blessed month. And then subhanallah, Surah An-Nur has such a long story, a backstory behind it, and I can't touch about all the details, but roughly talk about this is regarding the hadith of If, where the accusation against the mother of believers, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, who during their life, at the time of the Sahaba, they accused her of doing something wrong. And subhanallah, the amount of stress and the amount of anxiety that she was going through, no one was there to really defend her. No one was there to stand up for her. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah defends her. And He is the one what better defendant could we have than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to defend your case? People are accusing you and she's going through all this distress. This is the mother of the believers, such a pure lady. This is our mother, the mother of the believers, Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defends her case. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks against those people that accused her without any witnesses, and He brings this whole discussion of when a person brings some evidence, he must come with 4 witnesses, and he must come with some proof. And then alongside with this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the discussion of those that fornicate, their punishment, and then those and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions also that the wretched people, that the people that are immoral, they will be for immoral people. So if we ever feel like, man, I want to find such a beautiful person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, al-khabithatu lil-khabithin wal-khabithuna lil-khabithat, right? That those people that are immoral and they have immoral actions, they will be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put them with immoral people. But He says, الطيبات للطيبين والطيبون للطيبات, that those pure people that they're working on themselves and they're gaining that nearness towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will find them people just like them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gather them, will surround themselves with pure people just like those people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then the whole discussion of Allahu nuru samawati wal ard, and this whole example is mentioned. And inshallah we will continue, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions the etiquettes of entering the home, and the etiquettes of lowering our gaze for the believers and for the men believers and for the women believers, on how important it is to lower our gaze. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ, that this is more delightful for them. That because a person who protects his eyes and he protects his gaze in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something much higher for him. And this reminds me of the hadith, مَنْ تَرَكَ شَيْئًا لِلَّهِ عَوَضَهُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا مِنْهُ, that if a person in this Ramadan, if we can try to take action and take this theme throughout this whole entire month, inshallah, this will allow us to protect ourselves from those things that are impermissible. مَنْ تَرَكَ شَيْئًا لِلَّهِ, whoever leaves something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, عَوَضَهُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا مِنْهُ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant that person something better than that. Imagine we are struggling with something and we want to leave something for the sake of Allah, and the Prophet ﷺ, he is telling us, and he is true, all his speech is the truth. If we leave something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us something much greater than that thing. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us, whatever struggles whoever may be going through, whatever I may be going through, whatever anyone may be going through, all the struggles of the Muslims all across the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to overcome those struggles and allow us to, go throughout this month, in obedience towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that inshallah we may come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we can build this relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month, And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give myself and all of us, inshallah, the tawfiq to do so. Wa akhiru da'wan walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.